Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of The Human Side of Marketing. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, Kurt Stockwell. Hello, Kurt.
Hello, Chris. How are you this fine day in March?
Great this fine day in March.
We're marching towards spring, thank God.
Oh, please, get there faster. Get there faster.
Seriously, I'm done.
I like it. Well, we're talking about, we came off a great episode last time. We talked about jargon. I'm feeling super convicted about all the jargon that is.
Did you find any words in your marketing that you might be?
I think I'm still saying jargony words. I think
it's difficult.
It's a hard habit to break. I do think it's a hard habit to break, but it's not because my heart's not in the right place. I just trying to break the habit. But
that's right. When you're striving to be better, that's really what it's all about. You never really ultimately get there, but striving to be better, that's what it's all about, right?
I think so. Well, for those who have their heart in the right place and they're still wrestling with jargony things, it's okay. Because in this episode, we're going to talk about the power of empathy. I think empathy is one of your strong suits if you're a heart-centered business person. But this is your topic. Walk me through empathy and trust. Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, we all want to be more profitable in our businesses, right? That's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Most people, they want to be able to bring home a paycheck, support their family, do the things that they've always wanted to do, because this business that you've created, or even a business that you work in that you're really passionate about, you want it to be profitable. So I'm convinced that the sum of the parts to equal profit is empathy and trust. Empathy plus trust equals profit.
Got it. Okay.
And you could even say empathy plus trust, bringing that clarity is what's going to make you stand out from your competitors and be more profitable.
Totally. Yeah. Give me an example of not that.
Okay. So I told you before the recording here, I was going to tell you a story of something that happened to me.
Yeah.
So maybe we just put in some sad music, or no, we'll just go into it. So every Monday, I buy my team lunch, and we go to, a lot of times we'll go to the same place because there's this restaurant in town that we all love. So they have an online ordering process that many times they'll get aspects of the order wrong. And, we're under, I understand it happens, whatever. So we went in there, I went in there to pick up the food. Actually, my business partner, Andy, is the one that went in there to pick up the food. And the manager said, "Hey, we messed up your order again. We're so sorry. Next week, if you order from us, don't pay online. Come in and we'll take care of it." Okay, so he's like, "Oh, cool. All right. That makes me feel good, right? You have empathy to the fact towards the fact that your ordering process got messed up, or the delivery of the service got kind of messed up."
Right.
So the following week, we order our food. We don't pay online. Andy walks in to pick up the food, and he said, the manager asked me to talk to her when we picked up our food. So he sees the manager sitting at a table, working on some papers or something like that. He walks over and he's like, "Hey, last week you said, because you guys had messed up our order, that we shouldn't pay online, to just come in and find you." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember saying that."
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Awkward.
And she's like, "Yeah, I don't recall." That was it.
Wow. Okay.
That was it. I mean, so the trust, the buy-in that we've had with this restaurant has, every week we're spending about $50-$60, right?
Right.
Paying for meals for the whole team. What did that do? That immediately made Andy feel awkward.
Yep.
Feel a little silly. Feel a little, a little put off. Well, why would I come talk to you about this problem if you didn't tell me to?
Right.
You would think that if the manager was committed to, really understanding where their customer came from, where Andy's coming from, "Oh, you know what? I don't recall that conversation, but no problem. We'll take care of it." Right.
Right. Like empathy would have gone past, "Oh, I don't remember saying that," an end of conversation. Well, tell me more. What happened? Look, it's possible that somebody could forget what happens. Like managers, we're all busy.
Absolutely.
So wait, remind me what happened again.
Yeah.
"Oh, well, we ordered, you said this was ask questions,
Right. And so immediately that made me think of, as I was preparing for this this presentation
Yeah.
or this podcast, I was thinking about that Maya Angelou quote that says, I've learned that people will forget what you said, and people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I don't know if
Right.
you've heard that quote before, but it's so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
so now, we're kind of rethinking, maybe we're going to go somewhere else to go get this,
Right.
the meal that we always spend $60 on. I mean,
Right.
is the cost of giving a returning customer, a loyal customer, a deal, or, just paying for their food one time, that could go so far.
Right.
Because I guarantee you that this restaurant has messed up other people's orders.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we're out in the community and they're like, oh, you've been there. Oh man, they always mess up my order. And you're like, you know what? They did that to us too, but it was so cool because they recognized it and they made it right. Well, now on the flip side,
Yeah.
they just made you feel foolish.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, you in your story, you were saying like the week before they were like, oh, listen, we messed up again. We'll take care of it. Like you're like, oh, okay. You just made me feel good. Like you acknowledged a mistake. You're going to take care of me. And then isn't it interesting that like the following week, like the feeling you leave people with is only as good as the last experience they had with you.
Right.
Like you could have great track record up to that point, and then what the last experience was not empathy and trust were not present.
Right.
And I actually felt bad, and that could actually undermine a whole lot of work you had done in the past to create empathy.
Right. Right. And you could thus lose a customer.
Right. Yeah.
Which there's the profit that goes away. Or you make it right. You provide a great customer experience. You go over and above, and that $60 that we spend per week is coming back. Right. And the other guy out on the street, the friend of mine, or maybe another coworker or something who also had a poor experience, and you said, you know what, they really made it right. What's that person going to do? They're going to get more trust in your business or your service because you provide empathy. You provided empathy to me, and I'm friends with you.
Yep.
Right. You don't even have to have empathy for the actual individual. When you have a culture of empathy and it breeds that trust, you're going to find profit in multiple ways that you never even considered, not even people you're necessarily interacting with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I feel like in this day and age of digital marketing, everything's online, that, this is the human side of marketing. Like empathy is the human side of marketing. Like it's not just a Facebook ad. It's not just the ad. It's not just the most transactions this week. It's the empathy. That's what makes us human.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So when we work with businesses, we talk about, who's your customer? Most people know, I have a pretty good idea of who my customer is. And then we get into, we've talked about this many times in the show, but we get into the problem. The problem has three parts. It has the external, the internal, and the philosophical. So the external thing is, you might, as a business owner, know what that external thing is, what the widget really does.
Right.
So we've talked about lawn care many times. Your lawn service or the way that you take care of a yard makes the yard green. I mean, that's the external thing. But really, the internal is I'm buying pride in my home. I'm buying a better relationship with my wife because she's not nagging me to get the yard green and pretty again. Or going into more of a deeper level, like maybe you're providing some sort of health service. You're selling a product or a service or maybe something, like a medication, but really what you're doing is you're giving that person a better life, peace of mind. They're able to do things that they haven't been able to do in the past. It gives them a confidence. And so the thing that we're really selling to, the thing that people are really buying is that internal feeling that they get when they interact with your product. And when you have empathy to say, hey, I understand that internally, when you don't have this product or service, it can make you feel this way. I understand. That's why we are so committed to this process of making this product or service so great, because it solves that internal problem and thus trust that you're going to take good care of them. So I've got some steps that you kind of think through as you're coming up, as you're doing your marketing or as you're interacting with your customers. Number one, listen to your customers. I mean,
Yep.
you said it in that example that I gave of the restaurant scenario. If she would have just said, "Oh, tell me more about that. I don't recall, but tell me some more about that." And Andy probably could have gone into it a little bit, and she would have went, "Oh, yes, I do remember that. I'm so sorry. I'm, into this paperwork here, and I just kind of, lost it for a little bit. I do remember you coming back." Or, you know what? I don't remember that, but like you said, it's likely something that could have happened. We're going to make it right.
Right.
Empathize. I mean, the step two then is empathize with their problem. I'm so sorry that you had that experience. We're going to make it right. And then the third thing is give away something of value. In the scenario of the restaurants kind of thing, hey, I'm going to give you some free food. Even if they would have said, you know what, I can't do the whole meal, but can I give you, some free chips? Which,
Right.
I mean, literally, it's nothing but like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I appreciate that you're, willing to give something of value. Maybe you're obviously not in the restaurant industry, but maybe you could provide something of value where you're just giving away some tips or some feedback on something that in your industry that maybe can be a little bit confusing. Maybe you're in the financial industry and things in the financial world change all the time. Maybe you've got a free download or a free video or something that is bringing clarity to something that's kind of confusing in your industry.
Right.
And the fourth way that you can provide empathy and thus, gain trust is to showcase your authority through some testimonials. So people that you've had, people who've experienced your empathy, ask them to talk about it and put that in your marketing. People like to see themselves in, maybe I haven't interacted with your product, but, I'm a mom who has kids and I see how this other mom who has kids, how you empathized with them and solved their problem. So I haven't worked with you yet, but I recognize myself in that other person.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. I love it. So simple.
So that's just 4 simple steps or 4 simple things that you could do in your marketing to have more empathy, which breeds trust and ultimately makes you more profitable.
Yep. Totally. So good. Yeah. Anything else? Any other thoughts on empathy plus trust equals profit?
Yeah. So when people experience your marketing, whether it's online, offline, really what they're looking for is where do they fit? Where do I fit in your narrative of what this product or service is? I heard a guy that kind of is a mentor for me in the marketing space, said, on a website in particular, think about the fact that when people are coming to your website, they're not looking ultimately for that product or service. They're looking to see where do they fit. Once they see where they fit, then they can engage more and are likely to purchase or take that next step.
What does that mean where they fit? Like give me an example of that.
So this is where you could maybe talk about empathy. So, hey, we understand that when you experience this or that problem, it can make you feel lost or confused. We understand. So we provide a really simple 3-step service that gets you started with this product or service that's going to solve that problem. So I can see where I fit. Yeah, I do have that problem. Oh, and I am busy and I do want simple steps. Right. And I do want a simple way to connect with you. So I can see where I fit into that narrative.
It makes me think of if I go back to high school and all the cliques in high school.
Yeah.
Right. Like where are my people? And if how you talk about your business and the problems you solve on your website from a place of empathy, feel like one, you're in my brain. Like, oh man, you really understand me. You understand my situation, my problems. And I like the way you talk about it. Like I like the tone you use, the energy, the vibe that you give off in your marketing. If I go, oh, like these are my people, I fit here. I fit with these people. That's what I hear when you say that. Right.
And to go back to the episode prior to this one, you're not using jargon or industry terms that make me feel uneducated or sometimes jargon or industry words or shop talk can make people feel stupid.
Good point.
Because they're like, I should know what that word means because I've heard it before, but I don't know what it means. And I feel a little bit kind of vulnerable right now.
Yep. Yeah. Good point. Really good. Yeah. That's so powerful because empathy, you're right. Empathy done right, has people feel like they fit. They're like, I fit with you,
Right.
because you get me.
Right.
That's
Right.
good. I love that. I love that.
Trust, the trust and empathy are such an important part, just not of your marketing. They're an important part of a society.
Right.
There's I'm going to put a link in the write-up about this episode on our website. There's a neuroeconomist named Paul Zak who did a TEDx. I'm going to put a link to his TEDx, and he talks about how trust and empathy are keys to building a stable society. So this is even bigger than just marketing. I mean, this is like what we need to be doing as human beings, one to another.
Yeah, big time. I couldn't agree more. That's why I like the show that you have, The Human Side of Marketing. I feel like bringing that empathy into the space of marketing so much. If you think about like businesses are a small population of like the whole world. But when you think about the outgoing messages to the world, most of those messages, from billboards to Facebook ads to all the stuff that we as businesses put out, is disproportionate to how big we are, like how small we are as a percent of the population as business people, right? Mm-hmm. Is a small number, but how much we do of the broadcasting to the world is majority of where all of the outbound content happens. And if that's not done from a place of empathy, right? Like it does have an impact.
Yeah.
I think on our communities for sure.
Yeah. You know what? And to kind of speak on a bigger, broader term of the importance of being truthful and empathetic and people building trust. I mean, you look at what are the biggest influencers in our society, really it comes down to marketing. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, look at some of the major brands out there. And if they come out and say, hey, it's not black, it's white, or it's not in a racial term, but I mean, or it's not up, it's down, or if it's not right, it's left, if they say, hey, this is the new way to think, right, you can really change a society and a society's values just on marketing. Yep. It's such a powerful tool. So with this tool, wield it with, what's the Spider-Man term, or the thing that you said in Spider-Man, great power. With great power comes great responsibility. I don't think it was really Spider-Man.
Well, I like it.
It was in the movie, right?
Yeah, if you are a superhero, if you're a Marvel superhero.
With great power comes great responsibility. So you have great power now in your marketing.
That's
empathy and trust.
Yeah, and wield it with care. With care,
right? Be careful with that.
That's really good. I love it, Kurt. Well, if people want to connect with you to see how they can have their marketing have more empathy and trust embedded in their message, how do people connect with you for that?
Yeah, you can on social media, where if you hear there's construction going on down below our office, so I apologize. On social media, you can connect with us by just searching WD Walrus. That's on Facebook or Instagram. If you want to go to our website, it's wdwalrus.com. Or if you want to connect to have a conversation about where you can find more empathy in your business. Sometimes it's difficult because our businesses are just inches away from our face all day long, right? We don't see maybe where we're not being empathetic. Connect with me at clarifymymarketing.com.
Perfect. Good stuff, Kurt. Thanks for procuring these conversations for us every episode. I think that what we get, the long tail of and the impact of this series is important, right? For people to not only for the consumer and the communities we live in, to feel like we can fit with the businesses in our community, but as business owners, that we feel like our marketing fits who we are. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, businesses often, they like what they do as businesses, but the minute it turns to marketing, they kind of get squirrely and they start to not feel authentic about who they're being in their marketing. And I know that what you guys get to do is help people put themselves back into their own marketing. So
yeah, that's such a great point, Chris. I think a lot of times when you start to get a little bit lost or uninspired in what you do, it's because you forgot the problem that you were helping people solve. And when you connect more to a human level with your customers in the product or service that you offer, it really speaks to that internal desire that we have to be a community, to be a tribe, to help each other. And when you do that, it kind of gives you more passion. And I think a lot of times businesses kind of forget really the problem that they're solving. And when they're able to focus on that more, it inspires them.
It does. Yeah. So good. I love it. Well, I love that. That's what you guys do. You guys can go to clarifymymarketing.com, connect with Kurt there. Kurt, thanks for a great episode, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, thanks, Chris.